Good morning, or it's morning for me at least. Welcome to the podcast. My name's Caitlin. Jeez. Can't even get into it, I swear. Yeah, it's the end of the week. It's Friday, thankfully. And for people who haven't listened to this podcast before, TMI, but it's the end of my period, so I have been tired all freaking week. Just exhausted all week. So that's how it's been. Can't really change that. It's helpful, though, to, understand that that's what's going on. It helps me to be kinder to myself and to try and take care of myself. What's a good word for this? Rejected my, feminine cycle for the longest time. I was just like, oh yeah, my period's not that bad, so I'm gonna just push through it and pretend that it doesn't really happen and doesn't affect me at all, and I'm gonna just be this, I don't know, I just rejected it. I was like, I'm not gonna be like literally every other woman out there and have any sort of changes during my cycle, which is so stupid. But I've had a lot of things in my life where I'm like, why did I think that was a good idea? I don't know, but I guess it's just society has always kind of said that feminine needs are not really worth it, and you're just being they're not real needs, or you're just being dramatic. And I've always been like, well, I don't want to be dramatic. I'm not I'm not a dramatic person when it comes to really anything, so I'm just gonna pretend that it doesn't happen and basically psych myself out into believing that oh, that just doesn't happen for me. Sure, I bleed, but nothing else happens. I don't get horrible cramping, I can still do everything normally. So it's just I'm gonna just not even pay attention to it. And I was really neglecting myself. Now that I'm aware, I realize that, again, I hesitate to say depression because it's not clinical, but I tend to feel lower, and I have less energy, and I have less motivation, and things just seem more difficult during this week, every month. And it's just good to know that, so that I can kind of have some perspective when I'm feeling this way, and be like, okay, certain things will come up in my life and I'll be really struggling, and I'm like, okay, it's totally valid that I'm struggling with that right now. However, let's see how I feel in a week or two, and if I feel the same way on the subject, because it may be that I'm just exhausted and can't handle dealing with that right now. Yeah. So this week I have not recorded much at all. I've been exhausted. I haven't really wanted to. And also traffic has been terrible. I don't know why. I mean, today wasn't so bad. But it's Friday, and most people don't even work on Friday. Oh my god. but I'm just ridiculously tired. Yeah. And I've been like giving myself a little bit of extra time to sleep. Only like a half hour, but you know, I'm giving myself that little bit of extra time that I need to rest. Yesterday I exercised, but I'd been kind of just taking it easy. But yesterday I was like, I really need to do something. And it felt good, and I'm glad I did, but it's also like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do it today. My knees kind of hurt. I know that I'm just, you know, I have less energy. And usually if I exercise when I have less energy is when I have more achiness in my joints and when I'll sometimes have more joint issues. So don't want that. But it was good to get moving yesterday. I felt good. So, yeah. The weather's been nicer, so that's good. I actually was able to go outside yesterday. I don't know. I like being inside a lot. I think that comes from just having control of the area that I'm in. I'm in control of the temperature. I'm in control of like people around me, like environment, that kind of thing, sensory inputs really. But I don't do well when I can't go outside. Like it's freezing and it's gross, and yeah. So it was nice to be able to go outside yesterday and actually enjoy it and not be like rushing to get inside. Fuck you. I swear, these lights are so annoying and I wish they weren't motion censored. I hate motion sensors. I hate automatic toilets. Like, just all of the things that are like motion sensor at work are terrible. I hate them. I wait to go into the shower room that has a regular toilet because I just can't. It's just so frustrating. Plus, it's like a room and you can lock the door and nobody else is in there, and it's way more peaceful experience. I know I've talked about this before, but I just cannot with the public restrooms and the automatic toilets that flush while you're still sitting down, and I'm like, I'm gonna lose it. So, anyways, I have a lesson to talk about today. I know I haven't done this in like over a week now, I think. Oh my god. If I could get through it, jeez. I've been drinking a lot of black tea during the day because I can't really do anything stronger than that. It gives me anxiety, and I got enough of that on my own. I don't need any help there. So, but I'm gonna definitely need some tea or something. I don't know. I feel like I just need a nap, but I felt that every single day. So we'll see what this weekend is like. Maybe I can sleep in. Probably will. At least compared to working schedule. Tomorrow I'm going to be by myself most of the day. I'm going to have to figure out what to do, which is probably going to just be laundry and napping. Maybe some of this class. Ugh. Yeah. I mean, probably should walk some on the treadmill that I bought, unless it's really nice out and I want to walk outside. But again, I like kind of being in control of my environment. I like going outside, I do, but I would prefer to go outside in like a park, like a natural park where there's not a lot of people. I really prefer to be in nature without people if possible. So, yeah. It's kind of hard to do around here most of the time. But yeah, I should get into this because I'm just my brain today. This is a long one. It's the first time I've filled up the whole section, so bear with me. It's measuring and evaluating neurodiversity initiatives. So, establish clear goals and indicators of success. Key performance indicators track progress and outcomes, measurable objectives, provide a roadmap for impact. So it's people talk about KPIs all the time when it comes to other things, but they apply here as well. And I know that right now, especially, a lot of diversity initiatives are being taken away, and so I think for those of us who are still, value diversity, it's really good to have those indicators so that we can have quantitative evidence of the success of our initiatives and how that's really impacting the organization that you're a part of, or whatever it is that you're implementing these, because I know sometimes it's typically going to be an organization that's dealing with this. Gather quantitative and qualitative feedback for comprehensive understanding. So numbers are great. I love numbers. I love spreadsheets. I love statistics. But we also need feedback and other forms to show, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, this is what people are saying about it, this is how it's actually impacting real people. I think a lot of times we like to just look at numbers. I mean, yeah, the numbers are important, but it's also good to look at how it's impacting real people. And it can help us to refine and tweak things. Show patterns, trends, and individual experience. Kind of what I was talking about. It's good to see the full picture, and you can't really do that without talking to the people that's really impacting. Evaluate positive impact on culture, innovation, collaboration, and employee morale. Continuing education and adjustments to coaching and training programs is crucial for program effectiveness. So it's important to look at, as it's important to look at the full picture as far as statistics and personal experience. It's also important to look at all the different areas that it could be affecting as well. I think that especially when you're making an argument for a program, it's important to show how it has improved all different aspects of the organization, how it's increased productivity and collaboration and innovation, because that, I feel like you can't really argue against. I know you can, I know people are, but in my very logical brain, I feel like you can't really argue against a program that's showing success in those areas. But that's why it's really important to have that evidence and to make sure it's really well documented. Share share findings with stakeholders on best practices to promote transparency and learning. So, yeah, it's important to make sure everybody on your team is educated, but ultimately, there's a lot of other key stakeholders in business, especially, and in government as well. And I know that where I live, I live very close to DC, and so everybody around me is very highly connected with the government, and it's really important that we have these documents to share, and that we, as individuals, continue to learn, and push the people around us to I don't know. For some reason, my brain just wants me to say to be better. To be the best version of yourself. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know. Ensure alignment of neurodiversity initiatives with organizational goals to enhance sustainability and impact of initiatives. So again, with having like good documentation of the success of programs and how they're working and the positive impact that it's having, it's important that that also aligns with whatever the organization's goals are. Because it's great if it's successful in, increasing employee morale and, people are working together better. But are we achieving the goals that were originally set out for the organization in the first place? So really have to be on the same page. And I know it can be difficult. A lot of times there's sort of vague terminology used, and that really bothers me because I need specificity or whatever. I can't talk today, so just bear with me. I know I look like I'm exhausted and I sound like I'm exhausted because I am. But yeah, it's just a day. Encourage participation of neurodiverse employees in decision making. Can lead to better and diverse decisions and perspectives. So, kind of what we've been saying this whole class, and like all the lessons that I've talked about, it's important to have diversity and diverse perspectives, and generally speaking, it's just, sorry, my computer just saying there's issues with my connection, so it was bothering me. Diversity creates a stronger network, and I think it's important to show that, and it's important to live that. Well, I just had a hotspot myself, so I think Wi-Fi went out or something, which is not great. I'm gonna have to deal with that in a minute. Anywho, let me finish this up real quick because I'm so tired and I need caffeine. Skills training and empowering neurodiverse individuals to share their voice in organizational decisions. Offer tailored career development plans. Provide mentorship and coaching programs to support advancement for neurodiverse individuals, but also for, in general, I think it's important to have that individualized care. I think a lot of organizations just kind of float that, and you tend to see as it goes up into like higher levels of management, nobody's really ever had any one-on-one coaching, mentorship, guidance on where they want to go with their career. They just kind of been chugging along, doing whatever they're told, and they just keep doing that. And then eventually they wonder why they hate their job. They don't feel like they really understand what their job, like what the purpose is of their job. Probably because they just never actually had that development. I think in order to have strong leaders and strong team, it's really important to have that investment. Approach challenges with empathy and flexibility in accommodating needs and preferences to encourage open communication, feedback to be productive and constructive. Proactive. I can read. Yeah. It's different where I work, because where I work, there's a lot of neurodiverse individuals that work here, and there's not very many of us, so like majority neurodiverse. So it's definitely a unique work experience. But definitely most of the time, this is not the case. And you don't tend to see the level of empathy and flexibility and open communication. I think that's something that definitely could be learned and implemented in other organizations. Empathy is something that, you can't really... It's hard to teach empathy. It's something that you really have to have internally, and it can be very frustrating. But it's important to have policies written and general practices that reflect empathy, so that at least certain things are expected, and it makes it a little bit easier to make those decisions when they come up. Yeah. My brain hurts. Collaborating with outside stakeholders and industry events to advocate for neurodiverse benefits in the industry, incorporating neurodiversity into a company's corporate and social responsibility, CSR strategy, and lead by example and celebrate neurodiversity in the workplace related to achievements. So I think there's a lot that can be done. I don't know how it's not looking great right now for those advancements, but I think there's a lot of people who still value diversity, and not just... I think sometimes it's easy to have like a limited view of what diversity means, but diversity includes, in this case I'm talking about neurodiversity, but there's also so many different kinds of diversity, and I think it's really important that we celebrate diversity in general, and all of the positive things and the way that it strengthens us. In most cases, diversity equals strength, and it creates a stronger team environment and mutual respect, and I think we need more of that right now. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and if you aren't, I hope it gets better, and I really appreciate you guys being here, and hopefully next week I won't be so tired and dull. But I really appreciate you guys, and I just hope that you know how much you are cared for, and that you remember you are enough.